Yes, you have plenty of options tonight. You have the Lakers, you have the Dodgers, playoffs. But now you're here. Hello, everybody out there from the House Hero Clan, the Wham Fam. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live. Yes, after you watch those playoffs, after you're listening to it on your other earbud, you are now listening to us here right now. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, it's just a long day, out there. Got a couple offers accepted for clients, it's always a battle. You're just out there grinding it out.
That's good.
And actually, get this, both offers were accepted without one counter offer.
Oh,
They literally
crazy.
just signed on the dotted line, which is wild. They'll normally counter some term or some little something, shorten a contingency, throw in some ridiculousness, and both offers just straight up accepted it.
Wow.
I wrote it clean, came in hard, talked to the agents, both agents ahead of time, and said, what do you need to see? And let's get it done.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, my clients are happy.
Well, tonight's topic is the 5 things you must look at when touring a home with your agent. Make sure that you listen to this very carefully because it will save you thousands of dollars. So last week and the next 4 weeks, we're going to go over each one each time. And it will save you thousands of dollars. Make sure you do it. Before then, we're very interactive here. Please hit the wave. Say hello to us out there. All you Wham Famers, all you House Hero Clan, go ahead and hit and say hi. If you have any questions, please, we're very interactive. We'll answer all your questions for you tonight as well. Even if it's DMs off of the screen here at a later time, we're more than happy to answer those. We're live every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. We had a crazy TikTok video that went viral. Acting kind of dumb, but it went viral. I just checked it again today. I'm like, holy crap, it's gaining 100,000 views a day. I mean, that's crazy. But yeah, we're on TikTok. We're also on YouTube. We're definitely on Instagram. Do a lot there as well. So yeah, hit the follow us button if you get a chance. Take a look at us at the other social media events. So tonight, yeah, absolutely, we want to go over the 5 things you must see on every single home. Very important. Check that out with your agent again. But before we get into that, we have a couple things we go over every single Tuesday. One of them is what's in the news. Ryan, tell us.
Well, you know what? We're going to go light on the news today.
Oh.
And we're just going to stick with the one key slide here, and that's how many foreclosures are in the MLS. And you got to remember, in the MLS, there's about 17,000 listings right now. And of those listings, there are only 133 foreclosed homes. So everybody's thinking, oh my gosh, there's going to be this whole foreclosure wave. Mm-hmm. There is no inventory. So any sale, whether it's a foreclosure, normal sale that's coming on the market, they're getting scooped up. And you got to remember, with recent gains and these low rates, people are able to afford their payment because of the lower rates, especially if they've owned it the last couple of years. And 2, they've got equity. So if they got to get out, they have the ability to sell that home. I'm talking to a client right now who wants to move. They've been in their home less than 6 months, and they're going to walk with a gain on that home in 6 months after all commissions and all closing costs. So just keep that in mind. That's really where we're at with this market right now.
Right.
It's absolutely nuts.
And and that makes a really good point. make sure your agent, anyone out there that's on the refi market, and absolutely trying to get your mortgage insurance, your PMI taken off. Always know that your agent should be hitting you up every 3, 6, 9, 12 months, giving you an update on what your home is worth. And once you have that 20% spread, anyone else that has mortgage insurance, go ahead and contact your lender or your agent and try to get that taken off. If you could save $100, $200 a month, that is very, very important. We say that. So I kind of transition that off the REOs there.
Yep.
But it's really important to know what your home is worth. If you're jobless or there's some issues in your life that you're running into, again, you want your agent to show up and say, hey, this is what your home is worth. And so if you sold it now, you can walk away with cash in pocket and maybe get you out of some of those binds that you're in. So it's very, very important. I mean, I know we show the foreclosure numbers every single week and we keep seeing them drop. This is the lowest we've ever seen. We've been doing this for about a year and a half now. 133
Yeah,
is
it's
just
low.
really nothing. It's really nothing. So again, whether you're looking to get rid of your PMI or you're having problems with making your payments, please get with your agent who sold you that home and figure out what your house is worth. It's always important not to pay more or to get yourself out of that bind.
Yep, absolutely. So just wanted to go over the 5 things. We're going through this. It's going to be the next 4 weeks, I guess, or 3 weeks after today. So we started last week with electrical. So if you didn't watch it and you're interested in, what to look for when you're out there viewing homes, there are certain things you can see with your naked eyes as you're walking around, checking out the layout, checking out the neighborhood. But hey, look at these 5 things as well, because they can save you from spending money on a home inspection, that is just going to tell you things you would have already known by just spending that extra little second and checking things out.
With your agent.
You definitely want, with your agent, you definitely want to get that home inspection. It's going to, cover absolutely everything you need to be looking at on that home. But there are certain things that can tell you whether or not you should be putting in an offer or if this is the right home for you based on what it's going to cost to get it the way you want it. So, we're going to talk about electrical. HVAC, which is, heating, vacuum, and air conditioning. We're going to talk about plumbing. We're going to talk about the foundation. We're going to talk about roof. So tonight we're just focused on heating. So if you have any heating or cooling related questions, shoot them out. If we don't know the answers right off the top of our head, we'll get them for you. And just if you are out there looking at homes, with your agent, don't understand, I normally would say, hey, out there at an open house or something, and you see a property and there's something you don't understand or wonder what a feature is on a house and you want to take a picture, DM us on Instagram or Facebook. Feel free to do so. There's not a lot of open houses right now, so it's probably a little bit slower on that. But let's just jump into it. So today what we wanted to cover are the air conditioning and the furnace. And these are the key types of heating and AC you're going to be looking at. So most people want, and what we want to see is a central air conditioning and central heating system. So normally it's a split system. You've got the coil in the house or in the attic, and then you've got a condenser outside. So a lot of times you'll see it in a hallway closet. You'll see half the unit. It's called a split system because you have 2 parts, one inside the house and one outside. The one outside, compresses the Freon, and the one inside lets it expand, and that's what gets cold, and it's blowing the air through it. So, we're basically looking, hey, does it have central air conditioning? Does it have central heat? Normally it'll have, or a lot of times it'll have central heat, but not have central air. So you really want to look at that, and we'll bring up a picture and show you how right off the bat if it's got AC or not. And then, we look, is it window or wall mounted AC? Is it, window or wall mounted heat as well? And then floor, some of these older homes, they have radiant floor furnaces as well. So we just want to know what's going on in the house. Does it work for you, or is it going to be something you need to upgrade right away? And that's the key thing. We're here. We want to save you guys money on all of this stuff. So, and then...
Fantastic. No, it's really good. I mean, what the things to look for is real important here, Ryan.
Yeah. And so these are the things you can look for. So, when Troy and I are walking around, when Roxy's walking around, Gabe, the rest of our House Heroes clan here, we got, we're looking at location units. Where are the units? Is it inside the house? Is it up in the attic? Is it on the roof? Where is it? Is it wall, window AC like we're talking about? Is it electric or gas? Because the furnace, the heater can be electric. It can also be gas. And same thing with the AC. You can have an all-electric AC. It's a heat pump. It basically just runs the heater in reverse. So the heater and AC just kind of run in opposite directions. And that's how you get the heating or the cooling out of it. Is it a split system or package unit like we were just talking about? A package unit puts that condenser coil, the condenser and the coil all up on the roof with the heater, and it blows it down through the center and then into all the ducting. And like we talked about, is it a heat pump? And then there's everything that the inspector is going to look for. So inspector is going to look to see if it's a recalled unit. Is the unit functioning properly? Is it safe? Are you going to have any health and safety issues with that? And then in the ducting, a lot of times it can have asbestos. And then underneath the units, and sometimes, in the registers and ducting, there's even signs of mold. So now you got to remember, an inspector is not going to go in and, crack open any walls. They can't be destructive in any manner, but there are still some telltale signs that will alert them to the possible, issue of asbestos and mold both. So, and I've had them in clients' homes before, or really where we were doing the inspection for them to buy it, but both asbestos and mold in the HVAC system. So, you definitely want to be looking at these things. So here's a picture here. This is, what I was kind of pointing out here is a lot of times this is the condenser. This is a part out in the backyard you're going to be looking at and looking for. And that's how you know if you have a split system and you've got AC when this is out there. This part up here in the box up above, that's a disconnect. This is a key thing you need to remember. There are fuses in there. It's normally a little pull thing you pull out, and these fuses are 2 little tubes. And a lot of the times, that's what fails. So when your AC stops working, a lot of times the HVAC tech will say, hey, did you check the fuse? And that's something you can look at right off the top of your head and say, hey, look, let's save the money and, on a service call and check the fuses first. And you just want to make sure there's a lot of good airflow around the HVAC. So as we're looking out, walking around the property and stuff like that, we're just kind of saying, hey, what's going on here? Is there anything we really need to be, brought to our attention as we're rolling around? And is there anything that needs to be, maintained on this unit right off the top before we even get into escrow on it? What do you think about this one, Troy?
It's a furnace.
What year do you think that was put in?
Probably in the 80s at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, if the house was built in the 80s, I think it's the original that's in there.
Yeah. And so, if you have an AC, you'll normally see pipes coming up into this area. Mm-hmm. So basically you have the air coming in the bottom of this unit. It gets, blown through the heater and then up through the ducting. And then you've got the vent pipe taking all the exhaust out. So if you have an AC, it's basically in this unit. The fan blows it up and the heater's not on, and then it'll cool through here and then keep going up. So that's something else you can look for. One of the other things we look for is just like Troy was just mentioning, the age of that unit. We look at the age of this unit. You got to remember they're constantly upgrading the Freon in these things. And so on these older systems, you can't get replacement Freon for a lot of them. So if something like this goes out, there's a good chance you're going to have to replace your whole system inside and out. And so this is one of the key things. You want to make sure that you are getting a 1-year home warranty when you submit your offer. You want to make sure your agent's writing that in there. Normally this is something the seller pays for, and you want to make sure you have that. One of the key things I feel like the home warranty is good for is the AC unit. When it goes out, they will either replace it or issue a credit towards replacement up to whatever their cap is in the policy.
So let me ask you, Ryan. You write an offer, you write that you're getting a home warranty. I know there are specialty items in that home warranty that you can check off in the offer itself. Is AC unit part of that specialty checkoff?
That's a great point. Yes, it is. So, when you're writing the offer, it says, how there's a price point limit. Seller agrees to pay up to a certain dollar amount for a policy issued by X company, and it includes either basic, upgraded, you've got the check box for AC, pool spa, and other. You want to make sure you've got that AC box checked if you have AC. Absolutely.
That check alone can save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Troy.
And it's just you want to make sure your agent does it. So when you're looking at the offer that they send you, and typically send via DocuSign, some of the key points in there, one of those key points is going to be checking for your home warranty. And that's going to be on the third page of the residential purchase agreement. Right.
Absolutely.
So
no, that's awesome. And these are some of the things, we talked about that the inspector is going to look for. This is a fibrous material. It's a tape they used a lot in the 60s, 70s. It's known to have asbestos in it. And so this here, you've already got some tears in it as it's going through the ducting. So this is something that you're going to want to have replaced. So that's one of the key things an inspector will point out. Hey, this is likely to have asbestos. Here's another one. This was flagged as having asbestos and a rat ate through it. So, all those fibers are just blowing through your ducting system there. I had asbestos ducting in my house. I think I'm coughing up blood or something over here. No, I'm not scared of it. I had somebody come in, a professional. They went in, they took all of the ducting out. It was $600. They made a clean room, did the whole thing, taped it all off, removed it all, and then they used a kind of like a glue or a rubber material, and they'll go around the edge of the boot where they've removed the tape to just encapsulate it, so none of that asbestos material can become airborne. So they got their HEPA filter and everything out there, and they do a good job. And so if you have an inspection and you've got asbestos ducting, the key thing is don't disturb it. And be careful when you're walking in the attic. And as soon as you get that chance, I would definitely upgrade the ducting, especially since there's so much more efficient ducting out there right now. It'll really save on your AC and heat costs. So that's one of the things I always recommend. But I tell people, hey, don't be afraid. It was $600 to remove, and just all of the reducting was under $2,000. So, and these are one of the things. Here's a electric, wall heater. Definitely past its prime. Knobs are broken off and things like that. So you'll go into some of these houses and they're all electric. You'll see. I'll walk into a house and there's a doorbell and it's a little rectangle. That says Medallion Home. And those, were supposed to be cutting edge, clean and efficient homes. They are all electric. Back when the, natural gas cost more than electricity and electricity was thought to be clean, they made these homes all electric. A lot of times now you see people trying to, plumb in gas or have propane to some of them to do the stove or heater or water heater. But just know if you see that Medallion Home, everything's going to be electric. So your heater and AC are going to be electric and your wall heaters are going to be electric normally.
How about your washer and your dryer?
Yeah, same thing. Electric.
So it's not going to be gas.
Dryer.
Okay.
Yep. And so, here's a wall unit. They just kind of have it down on the floor for AC. You can tell they used to have a bigger 220 plug here for a larger window AC. It's a bad photo. I apologize, but I was taking more a picture of the plug on that one than the AC as we were rolling through. So, everybody pretty much knows what a window AC is. But, when I'm with a client, this is kind of what I'll look for. This is a unit in a hall closet. Most new homes have their HVAC unit up in the attic. This is vertical. They'll lay them horizontal so they fit in the attic. And that's the best. I feel it frees up space. A lot of times if you're going to do an upgrade to an AC, you'll relocate it from a closet like this up into the attic. It opens you up to more closet space, things like that. A lot of times, these are back into, a bathroom or something like that. And that way you get, that space for the bathroom. I've seen in garages where the AC unit is next to a water heater, and that's where we've had mold issues. The water heater's leaked, and you got to remember down underneath here, the air is coming up. So the water goes underneath this support, and it grows mold. And then what's happening is you're just sucking air right by all of this to all of the ducts, and then it's blowing all through the house. And so you want to make sure if you've got an AC and you're back into a bathroom, you want to make sure that inspector is looking, shining a flashlight in that grill, and possibly even taking off that vent, that grill where the air intake is coming in, and looking for signs of moisture issues. So I've had mold where it back to a bathroom and there was, bathroom leak, bathtub, stuff like that. And I've had it where it's shared a platform in a garage with a water heater and leaked, and all of that was pulling mold. So this is a really good install. I like this. You've got a clean vent with the type B vent here going up. I think it needs some screws on there, but it's all taped around here. Every little hole is all sealed. This here, these PVC pipes, this is a condensation line. So, it sweats just like a cold, Coke cup, that you get from a Pollo Loco or whatever. So you want that condensation to be going out of the house. So there's a primary condensation line. It's running it back up, and it's probably going to run into a sink or something like that. And then if that somehow gets blocked, then there's a secondary line over here. And if it gets blocked, this one will actually turn off the system. And so this one, you got a flex line, gas to here. It's hard plumbed in. They got this little sediment trap. This is pretty much, these guys followed the rules as they installed the sediment trap. I'd say I don't know, 95% of the AC units and heating units that we look at on the home inspection report have one of these 4 items called out. Either the electrical is not clamped, not sealed right, it doesn't have condensation lines, it's prone to leaks. So these are kind of things I'll just kind of look at just because I have an idea of how many things are going to show up on the inspection. Now you got to worry about these caps outside because people suck off the Freon to get high. So there's all these little things that I'll kind of look at. But what I'll point out to my clients are larger things like this. Here's an image of a package unit. This is up on top of a roof. So you just want to know, hey, if there's maintenance up there, you got to be up on the roof maintaining it, and you want to make sure that you're looking for leaks and stuff like that. So those are some of the key things I'm looking for as we're going through the house. What else are you looking for when you're out there, Troy?
Well, with AC units and furnaces, I mean, where the placement of the furnace is, that's really important. I mean, a lot of furnaces are going to be either in a closet, which is kind of old school, right?
Yep, absolutely.
In the house, or it's going to be in the garage. And, and typically it's sitting on the same riser as the hot water heater, and that seems to be an issue every time. If that and drip pans are not on the hot water heater, so if there's no drip pan on the hot water heater leaks, gets onto that riser, then soaks into the drywall / the wood underneath, and then next you have a furnace that weighs hundreds of pounds, and you have a hot water heater that weighs up to 1,000 pounds, right? And that thing just comes collapsing in. So you have just a lot of multi issues that you can happen there. You talked about mold earlier, Ryan, about it.
Yep.
That is definitely something that's an issue. So, you look at the placement of the heater, on newer homes, it's typically in the attic, so you don't really get to see it at all. In homes that are built, 2000, 1990s, you'll see it typically in the garage.
Yep.
And then older homes somewhere in the 80s, 70s, 60s, and 50s, they're in the garage. So that kind of gives you indications of where it's at, the heater is at. Now, if you're looking at homes built in the last 20, 30 years, the AC on a split unit will be typically on the outside, on the ground, on an actual platform. It's and you'll see it out there. It's ducting going into the house. You'll see the like you said, the fuse box.
Yep, absolutely.
On there, as well as you'll see a sub panel on there too. So you'll see all that. Now, homes that were built in the 50s and on certain builders, 50s, 60s, and 70s, you'll see the AC unit / furnace on the top of the roof that you had gone over, Ryan.
Yeah,
and those are absolute nightmares today. I mean, you have to crane them off, crane them on. I had a client that I showed a property last Saturday. He goes, "Well, why don't you just roll it off?" And I go, "He'll just destroy the roof."
Well, it's pretty funny. I don't know if you remember because you were kind of involved, but we were doing a flip, you and I, in Fontana, and we had a package unit, brand new, put up on. We had just done the roof. It was all brand new roof. Mm-hmm. We craned the package unit up on there, and somebody stole it over the weekend, and they just slid it off the roof and jacked up our entire roof. Oh. So that was kind of up there with my most annoying thefts of our property. I think the plumbing, after we just replumbed one house, and then they stole the copper right back out of it in LA, that kind of hurt. But my favorite was when they stole the sod. We had just put brand new sod on a house in Ontario, and then the next night somebody rolled up and unrolled all of our sod, drove off with it, and put it somewhere else. I'm like, all right, like if you're that hard up for grass, like you can have it, bro.
Well, thank God that's insurance companies because think about it. You're craning something up on top. It weighs 1,000 pounds minimum, and then someone decides, well, let me just cut the legs off and let it tumble down. What is the usefulness or the resale value of an 8 foot to 12 foot drop on a
I'm pretty sure they used some ropes and stuff to get it down, but man, it was that one hurt. That hurt the pocketbook on that one.
Yeah.
We only got a fraction of it out of insurance. But yeah, those are the things you want to be looking at because when you go to look at a home, obviously you're all excited, you want to do the remodels you want to do when you move in. But if you're going to be, jumping out with expensive repairs because AC's dated or you have only wall and wall AC and maybe a wall furnace. We didn't really show a lot of pictures of the wall furnace and stuff like that, or the floor furnace tonight. But if you've got those systems and you really want your central air and heat, you got to be saying, hey, look, I got 8 or 12 grand. I'm gonna have to put into this house to put in ducting, to find a spot to put this AC, and all of those issues. If you don't have enough room in the attic, or you don't have an attic at all, then you're going package unit. And we've seen flat roofs where you've had to do a package unit, and then you have to run all of the ducts up on the top of the house. So those are the things and conversations we like to have with the clients is, hey, do you really want central air and heat? This one doesn't have it. And on top of it, since there's no attic in this house, you'll see a lot of these 60s homes where you've got a roof and they're open beam. Well, you got to remember, there's nowhere to run wires, nowhere to run plumbing up there. It's a slab foundation. There's nowhere to run ducting. So you put a package unit and you're running all your ducts up on top of that house.
Yeah, it's
it
bad.
can be very ugly outside, and it's very inefficient because you got the sun just beating down on your AC ducting. So, that's kind of, you got to do what you got to do, but you got to keep that in mind. And I actually was just talking to one of our HVAC techs we work with a lot, getting ready to put an HVAC unit in for a client, and he's like, Ryan, I'm just so happy I ordered that a month ago for your client, and put it on will call. He's like, otherwise I wouldn't even be able to get that unit for another 2 months, they're telling me. So right now, if you guys are looking at a project, I would get it started ASAP, because a lot of the air conditioning companies are out of inventory because of COVID related things. I talked to an electrician the other day. He said he's having problems finding panels with the meter set on it, 200 amp panels. He's having a hard time coming by them. And this HVAC tech said he had to drive out to, I think it was Palm Springs, to pick up a 410 unit this weekend, and had to get the other half of it out in like Palmdale. It was ridiculous to put an AC unit in. So keep that in mind. Definitely make sure you guys get that home warranty. And before you call in an expensive repairman, pull that fuse and see if that fuse is just blown. I know that saved us a lot of money. So, and
the other thing is, I want to bring this up before we get off here. It's the value of your house, and the value. Absolutely. If you're twofold. One is you own a home right now, or / you're looking for a home. If you're looking for a home, you have to understand that value of the home, part of the value of the home is going to be the AC unit / the furnace. If it doesn't have AC in it, it's simply just going to be, a ceiling fan up there, or, have wall units. It's typically worth less, and it's less desirable for people than having, a more modern AC unit, in the house. The furnace heater, sooner or later, it's going to be replaced. And it's going to be replaced, either it's going to go in the attic or it's going to go in the garage. And so, again, when you're looking at homes and you're saying, hey, I'm desperate to get in a house, know that it's just not going to be the house. Those are not modern amenities that you have inside that house. If you own a home and you do have a wall furnace, and definitely, I said this before earlier, check with your agent on what your value of your home is. You could actually do some home improvements, and not only will it increase the value of your home, but it increases your lifestyle in that house. So take that in consideration. Either way, whether you're looking for a house or you own a house, and do that. Do me a favor. Make sure you get to know the house's value. It's so important. Even in times like now, where, like you just mentioned earlier, when we open this up, you have somebody that already wants to sell their home 4 months in, and after all the real estate fees, they're going to walk away with cash in pocket and probably buy another house, right?
Yep, absolutely.
They're going to do that. So make sure that your agent always updates you every 6 months at minimum, every year, on your home's value. Yep.
And adding AC, adds a lot of value to a property. When you're out there searching for homes and you're trying to weigh a home one to the other, kind of use that factor. 8 to 12 grand is what you should be thinking. Hey, if there's 2 homes that are similar and one has central air and heat, the central air and heat should have at least 8 to 12 grand more value.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. I know there's plenty of sport options out there.
I know. We try to make it quick because Troy's got to get back to his sports too. We got to go watch ESPN.
So again, we go live every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Tuesday Night Live. Thursdays with the 8 p.m. Spanish side. You'll hear Roxy out there giving you all the same information in Spanish. And then on Friday, 2 p.m., we have Deal of the Week. The best deals we see every week. We actually give them to you out there, those secret deals. And then right after, in the evening, we get on and we'll give you weekly market update. We tell you what's happening in the market, show you in the 4 counties here in Southern California where the market is headed, what the value of your property or the average value of the properties, in those markets. And so you can see as it ticks up, that's what your home is worth. And everyone out there looking for homes, every month you go by, you see it tick up. Your cost of purchasing the house goes up as well.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, thanks, Troy. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a good rest of the week. We'll see you on Thursday and then on Friday.
Yep. Take care and be safe.